Hello, everyone, and thank you so much for joining us for our latest virtual event, part of the Become a Bobcat series. My name is Ricky Hill, and I'm an e-recruiter and engagement specialist here at UC Merced. Allow me to give you a quick overview of Become a Bobcat. The Become a Bobcat virtual series will extend over the next couple of months with a total of over 40 different topics in live virtual events just like this one that you're joining us for tonight. Some of the topics will range from housing, transportation, and dining services, understanding your financial aid award letter, student services, other types of research opportunities on campus, as well as student panels. The event that you're joining us on tonight is called Charting Your Own Course, Career and Leadership Development here at UC Merced. At this time, it is my great honor and privilege to hand things over to our alumni speaker to kick things off, Nathan.
Awesome, Ricky. Thank you so much. Good evening to everybody on the call. My name is Nathan Weezar. I am a recent 2019 graduate from University of California, Merced. I currently reside in Southern California now as an iOS developer for San Diego Gas and Electric. Very excited to be here and chat with you guys. And without further ado, I can go ahead and pass it over to Brian.
Awesome. Well, good evening, everyone. Thank you, Nathan. We look forward to hearing from you a little bit later in our presentation. Also want to extend my greetings and good evenings or good mornings to all of those that are tuning in tonight. My name is Brian Obruba, and I serve as our Executive Director for our Office of Leadership, Service, and Career. I've been with the campus for just a little over 10 years, and I've had the great opportunity to work in higher education for close to the last 25 years, and have really found a home here at Merced, and through the great work that our team gets to do with students just like yourselves. When we think about this idea of your future, we really take it into consideration, meeting you where you are now, and then really helping you to get to where it is that you want to go. There's a couple days that we love here at our campus. One of the first days is that day of move-in day, when all of the students are coming and moving onto campus, and we're having a chance to meet you sometimes again for the first time. And then my other favorite day out of the year is commencement. Seeing you walk across that stage, seeing your families in the audience, celebrating your accomplishment, and knowing now that your future is again ahead of you in terms of utilizing what you've learned and the experiences that you've generated at UC Merced, and are taking those out into the world, are just some of our favorite things. And we look forward to having that opportunity to experience those things with you as well. And so we think about the future a lot as we're preparing you for the future. And I share this as we've taken a look at the idea of skills of the future. And this is from 2020, which again seemed many years ago, like a long ways away. And as we look at these different skills that experts are telling us that we will have acquired, I don't think any of us would have predicted how we all have developed a skill in virtual collaboration, which is on this list of things. This is, as we're engaging here tonight, we've all become very well versed and skilled at something like this. So I don't think they had this in mind when they had this idea of skills out into the future. But these are the 2020 skills. Here at Merced, we also like to take a look at what are we expecting in the future. And so from the current literature, there's all kinds of research literature that's studying the future of jobs. There's an article here that talks about the 70 jobs for 2030. There are people that are meeting to discuss and talk about what will be those jobs of the future. And they're thinking about it, what will the world be like in terms of 2050? And then into 2025 and the 2050, these are some of the highest paying jobs that they're anticipating that we've not even heard of. At least I have not heard about some of these before, from a data detective to somebody that's a digital rehabilitation counselor, to somebody who's an ethical sourcer manager, and so many different career paths that we maybe haven't even heard of yet that are yet to come, including that of being a space pilot. And so as we think about this and about the future, we know here at Merced, our students are already working on those things that are working towards the future. Just this summer, most recently, we've had the good fortune of having several of our alumni, or some of our graduate students, and even undergraduate students in one of our professors' labs, Dr. Ashley Martini's lab, have provided equipment and knowledge that has been integrated into the Mars landing. And so if you've watched that, it was even a few weeks ago where there's a live stream of seeing the rover kind of land and start moving around. There's actual pieces of that around tribology. And I had to learn a lot about what tribology is. It has to deal with lubricants and lubrications. And so you can imagine to get these rovers and these machines, these parts to work, particularly in the different atmospheric areas like Mars, you're going to need things to maintain the lubrication of things. And that's just one of the things that our faculty are working on that has made its way to another planet where our students and our alumni have been engaged in. And we think that's pretty cool of where you all are going to take us into the future in doing that. So when we think about this idea of your career success, it really starts with your success. And I want to share a little bit around how we think about you progressing from where you may join us into where you want to be. And we think about this across three kind of unique stages for your kind of professional and career development. One is just being made aware of what opportunities are out there, right? I shared some of these jobs of the future. I learn about new jobs all the time and talking with our employer partners and folks that are recruiting our students. I'm constantly seeing new job descriptions and things that are coming up. But we really start with that sense of having you first start to really explore what options are out there. Some of you may know what it is that you already want to do. Others might be thinking about options but aren't really sure yet. Some of you may even start off in one thing and turn into something else. And so we really invest, particularly early on in your time with us, this idea of major career exploration. And then how do you bring and how does your identity start to intersect with your career identity? And so we help you start thinking about how the work environment you're going to be going into, or how your courses are going to relate and prepare you for these types of things. And so even in your first year, we start to introduce these concepts with students and with our new transfer students. Then we want you to start seeking out opportunities to test this out through these applied experiences. That could be getting a job on campus. It could be the idea of doing some undergraduate research with one of our faculty or with one of our graduate students. You, in your first semester, you oftentimes will be scheduling to take a Spark course. And a Spark course is to introduce you to one, being at a research university and kind of generate an interest into an area that our faculty are very passionate about. And these can be a variety of different topics that faculty are presenting on about the benefits or the challenges of donating a kidney. What are the ethical components that come into that? To one of my favorites was the physics of chocolate. It introduces physics, but it's through this idea of something as delicious as chocolate. But it's this idea of you're working with faculty and hearing about what their research is or what their interests are, and you're kind of learning about those particular pieces as well. Two, there's also a lot of innovative things that you're doing outside of the classroom. And that could be volunteering in the community. Many of our students already have volunteered in some capacity, and we want you to continue to do that. It could be developing your voice as a leader and your own personal journey as a leader. It could be doing things such as internships. And we'll talk more about that in a little bit. But we want you to reality test these interests that you have. And then we want you to kind of then, once that's been affirmed and you're into your major related courses in particular, then we want to start to try and think about what's next. And that could be continuing into graduate or professional school, that thirst for lifelong learning. It could be developing connections with industry, with alumni like Nathan, in terms of hearing about his story and his where he is, and him giving you advice to be able to do those things. And also this idea of yourself, and really being able to authentically take yourself into the next workplace, whatever that might be, to kind of really assess where it is that you want to be. And then the idea of that social mobility, being able to be in a career and start to kind of provide in a way that's going to be meaningful for you as you start to kind of pursue those things. And so we really want you to experience this across a continuum of experiences. And I want to highlight where are some of these unique experiences here at UC Merced that you have the opportunity to participate in. A lot of students in their first couple of years may stop by and meet with one of their career coaches to talk about this idea of gathering some assessment data about themselves. What are my interests? What are my skills? How does my personality match to different academic majors or programs? Sometimes it's even to confirm it. Our data tells us that just by making an appointment to talk with one of our career coaches or our career staff, you move 20% closer to your goal of because you know you're going to be talking with someone about your future and about your career. And oftentimes just that process of taking that step moves you forward to talk with someone who's knowledgeable about both academic programs and knowledgeable about jobs or career paths that you can go into. And so all of these assessments, we offer 6 or 7 different assessments that students can take, and can take multiple times if they need to really get some data, make some data informed decisions about themselves. We also have ways for students to kind of interact. Maybe they're wanting to kind of engage a little bit differently. And we just created an actual career services escape room, a virtual escape room, that we ask students to kind of help a student move from their first year all the way through to until they experience commencement. And you have to answer all these different challenges and kind of figure out all these different challenges. And at the time you're learning about opportunities, you're learning about resources that the career services operation has for students by going through and kind of completing an escape room. So it's kind of a fun way we have groups of students that participate in these, or classes students are competing to try and make their way out of the escape room, as a fun way for you to kind of learn about what's available through the career services operation. And we mentioned we start this very early. Currently, our first year students are engaged in virtual dens. And these are dens that are broken down where they're engaging with other students who are first year or new transfer students that are studying in a field that they're studying. It could be in our social sciences and humanities den. It could be in our natural sciences den. I happen to be the staff liaison to the School of Engineering den, and I'm partnered with a faculty member where we're engaging with all 800, 900 plus first year engineering students and answering their questions about resources on campus. And we're introducing we had a Mars landing watch party where we all got together and watched it on our screens to have that opportunity to kind of see the engineering that was going on. I learned so much from our students. With our dens, we're also having a resume writing contest right after spring break, where students can submit their resumes for a competition that will be scored and graded, and they have a chance to win some prizes. All of this is meant to introduce career very early on into your time here at UC Merced, and getting you to think about what might come next, or getting exposed to different things. We invite alumni in to speak with our student dens, and they share their experiences of what they're doing with their degrees, or how they're utilizing their degrees every day. And that is great to kind of hear from folks who were where they were not too long ago, to kind of share those experiences. And so really encourage our first year new transfer students to engage in that career journey across all years, but particularly in that first year. So I want to spend some time talking about these applied experiences, or places where students can get some hands-on experiences to do things. I mentioned one of the things that we highly encourage all of our students to complete is at least one, if not multiple, internships during the time that they're with us at UC Merced. Right now, it's a fun time of the year for my team, because we're hearing where students are gaining internships, where they're going to be doing their internships for the summer, as this is that time of year when a lot of students are finding out where they might be for the summer and doing those things. But our students do internships in everything from Fortune 1, Fortune 500 companies, into small businesses, startups, government agencies, nonprofit organizations, really running a gamut of things. Some of these internships students are doing remotely year-round. Others are mostly your traditional summer-based internship, where students are maybe going to different parts of the United States. Some are going internationally. Definitely throughout California, students are having the opportunity of getting these experiences. And without a doubt, at the end of that summer, students will come in and chat with us and say, gosh, I'm really glad I did this internship, because I really figured out what I didn't want to do. And so, gosh, what a great place to figure that out. They said, yeah, it just wasn't what I thought it was going to be. I'm so glad I did it, but now I really want to go and do this. And what a great opportunity to know that early on in that particular experiences. And so this is actually a photo of our taken a year before last, when our students were interning at Twitter. And so we had all them, we joined and went out and met with them and heard about their experiences, and had the opportunity to get them all together with some of our alum from Twitter as well that were there. And they just had a great day spending time kind of talking about the campus. Here's just a few of the organizations that actively recruit UC Merced talent, where our students are doing internships. and engaging in experiences, everything from national labs to health-based industry, into some of the larger organizations that you recognize, into government entities and so forth. And so lots of variety, lots of opportunity for students to gain these experiences and kind of learn about a field that they're studying to get some hands-on experience. One of the things that we've seen an increase in, and we're seeing more and more students participate in, are micro-internships. And these are just two of the programs that students can engage in. The first is just virtual micro internships, and these are often 5 to 40-hour projects. Students can sign up for these. These are organizations from across the country, could be putting in different projects that they're looking for students to help with. Students are then compensated and paid for those experiences based on those hours. They're getting a chance to work on something they can do while they're already in school, maybe around their class schedule, and they're developing a network. They are developing a connection. They actually are getting hands-on experiences doing different projects, everything from statistical analysis to helping create web pages to doing, we have several that are working on an onboarding program for new employees for a particular organization. And so someone's working on a newsletter for a particular company that they want to send out. And so our students are having hands-on to do that. And these are opportunities all across the United States. And then here locally, we've developed a similar program called Projects with Purpose, where students are actually engaging with our local community and getting a chance to do, again, short-term projects and receiving a stipend of up to $1,000 at completion of that, about 40 hours worth of work to complete a project. And this is particularly helping those in our community who may have been impacted a little bit by the pandemic as well, nonprofit organizations, small businesses. And so we have a little over 50 of those projects that are currently happening, where students are getting experiences, hands-on experiences to reinforce their learning in their classroom. Obviously, virtual internships are a thing that's going to be here to stay. We're seeing again last year and then again this summer, a lot of these are virtual still. And this is just one of our students from here in just north of us in Merced and Turlock, who's currently doing a virtual internship, but with a government agency that's based in Washington, D.C. And so she's doing that right here from Turlock and still having that experience to be able to do that. But we certainly anticipate and are seeing that virtual internships are going to be a thing that's certainly going to continue for organizations to offer them. And then we have really unique internship-based programs. We have a phenomenal partnership with Yosemite National Park. And as part of a leadership-based program, our students go through a leadership curriculum where they're learning about leadership and how leadership can be applied to the environment and open and natural green spaces. But then our students also have the opportunity to internship in the park in the summer. And this could be everything from a student who's interested in education, being involved in helping with their youth-based programs, when families come into the park and they're working on projects, working on arts and craft projects, to search and rescue. We've had UC Merced students have been involved in the search and rescue efforts with the park, to engineering-based projects or translating the Yosemite National Park website into multiple languages. That was done through the works of our students there. We have students around in the field doing different types of field research in the park as well. And so again, a chance to really in an amazing place be able to to live and to work for the summer, while you're also having the opportunity of advancing what you're learning in the classroom is a really cool experience. This is just a few of our previous student interns in the park. The other piece that I certainly would want to make you aware of is the opportunity for campus employment. Research certainly shows that if you're looking for a job, we encourage you to first look on campus. At any given point, even through the last year, we still have thousands of positions on campus. At our peak, we're probably at 1,500 students working for us in some capacity on the campus. And that can be everything from the folks you see on the screen that are working as part of our food on-campus food pantry, to a photo that was taken not too long ago of students that are helping with our asymptomatic testing location on campus. And they're actually helping to facilitate that and getting some experience facilitating that testing for faculty, staff, students, graduate students on our campus as well. And so new jobs have been created in that particular piece. But we do encourage on campus, one, we limit your number of hours that you can work because you are a student first. These are obviously paid positions. And also the majority of the time, we know when midterms are and finals are, and are really about your success. You get connected with campus folks and meet. And so we highly encourage, if you have the interest, to consider looking for a position, even in your first year on campus. They are competitive, so we'll need to get your resume going and thinking about that to apply for it. You are going to be interviewed for these positions because we want to replicate exactly what you're going to find when you start applying for internships or even full-time positions. We've also seen an increase in students asking us for different certifications or trainings. And so we've gotten really creative. I mentioned student employment. We worked out a deal with LinkedIn where all of our students who are employed on campus also have free access to LinkedIn Learning. And so whether they do that, they could take courses online, or if they're doing it with their supervisors or them themselves to kind of learn something. And we've developed a lot of partnerships. We are really excited about a partnership we have with an organization called CodePath, where they're providing technical and non-technical training to students. What's cool about CodePath is that these are actually UC Merced students who have been trained by CodePath to deliver these programs. And so it's students teaching students in these particular experiences. And it's been a great program. They have a couple of programs that are going on right now. Upwards of 40, 45 students are participating online in these programs to do that. And then we've had a lot of our industry partners come and offer trainings and programs, even from areas in the financial services area have come in and have done financial trainings around personal finances with students, or the impact of your credit score, looking at loans and understanding how loans work, or financial aid to, we just had one of our tech companies came on and did 3 different seminars around artificial intelligence and linear mathematics and really advanced algebra, and did hands-on training for our students to get some experiences to those types of things. And so we really see this idea of also where students can acquire additional skills through those experiences. I mentioned the idea of leadership, and I want to spend a little bit of time highlighting how important we think this is. We know this is always one of the top skills that employers are looking for in new hires. They're looking for leadership skills. And at UC Merced, we really feel that your leadership is about finding your voice as a leader, and that we lead from every chair. That leadership is not positional. Because you're in a position of leadership does not mean necessarily that you've developed leadership skills. We really like to encourage students, empower students to go on that journey of what it means to be a leader. Because what we want them to develop is their awareness of a leader, what their style is as a leader, and then through their identities in terms of how does that leadership kind of take place for them. Because ideally we'd like for them to be leaders while they're here, but then to take that into the community and be leaders in their communities, and then be leaders in their careers. And so this is just one of many programs that the campus offers. And this is a specific program for women in leadership. But we offer any number of these different types of programs for students to engage with each other, engage with exterior speakers, and really have a sense of, upon completion, I really feel like you know yourself better as a leader and understanding environments that you're in. We've integrated this leadership into professional settings, specifically with our LEAD PreHealth program, is a new program that we just launched this year. And it's been a semester-long experience where 35 plus students are going through this, and they're meeting with health leaders from all different aspects of health, and from public health to internal medicine to occupational health. And they are having these speakers come in and talk with them. And at the same time, all the students are in a cohort, but they break into projects. They have to work on project teams. And so they are doing an actual project while they're going through this. They're getting some hands-on experience. Just to give you an idea, next week after spring break, we actually have a person coming in from the Merced County Department of Public Health, and they're going to be engaging with the students around a conversation about leadership through a crisis. and crisis management, and how is that impacted in terms of being in any department of public health, and learning from their experiences, and students being able to have those conversations in that particular piece, we feel is going to be very powerful. So leadership, and as it ties to your career development, is also a piece that we look at. 69% of our students are doing some type of community service, community engagement during their time with us. And that could be a one-time service project. It could be through a service learning project as part of one of their courses where they're working with a community partner around something, or it could be through any number of our high impact experiences. One of those is on the screen here, where students are having the opportunity through the California Volunteers, the AmeriCorps program, to work around literacy, particularly with elementary school students. And we know for a fact that this has been an area that has really been challenged in the last year in terms of students staying on track with regards to their literacy. And so our students are out in the community doing that now virtually, but we'll be doing that in the schools to kind of really work with students one-on-one and in small groups to kind of really help develop and enhance their reading skills in that particular piece. The other thing, so we have all these experiences from working on campus, internships, to the opportunity of now we're ready to actually start looking for that full-time position. So we know right now in the last year that studying up for virtual interviews has become almost the only option for interviewing for a lot of different positions. And so we've actually brought on a software program to help our students to be able to do that. And where they can actually, at any time of the day, they can log in and pick an interview. They can pick the type of interview, how long they want it to be. We've created personalized interviews based on different majors. And students can record themselves answering questions, and then they're able to select an interviewer that then provides them feedback about their question, or why were they asking those particular questions in that particular piece. So again, having students have that skill of being able to interview is going to be really important. We know once they actually start working in the field, that we also want them to be prepared for that. And so we have created a professional clothing closet for our students, where students can rent a business suit. They can rent it for up to 5 days or longer if they need it. And it could be for any number of reasons that they may need it. It could be for, they're going to be attending a conference. We've had students who've come in and rented a suit for a professional presentation or for an event, maybe through one of their student organizations to do that. But we also know students are using these for interviewing. And so we don't want students to miss out on these opportunities because they felt as if they didn't have the attire to wear to do that. And we've got some great partners that have provided us with funding to do that, or provide us with the clothing. Levi's just gave us a large contribution of more business casual clothing that students can also now start to access and utilize for them to be able to go into those types of work environments as well. And so again, just trying to think of the little things as well as the big things to help our students to be successful. We have lots of interactions with companies recruiting on campus. Since September 1st, we've had about 430 employer-sponsored activities for students to kind of meet with them. It could be everything from the national labs to looking at Tesla, all the way through to the careers and social impact with Teach for America and organizations like that as well. And so lots of activity with employers that are actively recruiting our students. We love to take students out to visit companies and to do tours of companies. Even though we haven't been able to do that, the companies have stepped up and they've offered a variety of virtual opportunities for students. So as opposed to students being able to physically walk on to their sites and kind of see the environments and meet with people that are doing this work, we've been able to replicate that the best we can through more of our virtual types of components. And so these have been great ways for students to kind of learn. Here's just a couple of them. We had one earlier last week where we went to a robotics company and they were able to kind of show behind the scenes of what it means to be utilizing robotics. And they actually showed us some great videos of things that students, or excuse me, their employees are working on that students would have the opportunity to work on as well. Mentorship is also a piece that we really value, finding those connections to professionals that can kind of help guide them. And so one of the programs that we're a part of is working with a global mentorship initiative where our students are actually being mentored by, their mentor could be someone from a different country, could be someone from all the way across the United States. And they are working with those students, particularly in their junior years, all the way through their senior years until they start looking for that job or what might come next. And it's a very intense program where at a minimum, we're looking at 13, 14 times that they're meeting with their mentor. That's helping them to kind of figure out, where am I going to go? Or am I helping with their job readiness types of skills and experiences and things? So that idea of that kind of that professional mentorship is something that we really encourage our students to also seek and take advantage of. But it doesn't just start there. Our alumni are doing the same thing for our students, where they're committing their time and volunteering their time from all different industries and backgrounds. We've got alumni mentors and who are doctors or physicians or attorneys, to folks who are working for startups or working for in the educational sector. We have a principal who's happy to talk with students about educational career paths in the K through 12 system. And so students are able to actually connect with our alums who, again, know the UC Merced experience, have just been where they are not too long ago, to kind of provide them with that type of mentorship and guidance that we know that our students really find great value in. And it's also awesome to have our alumni come back and speak, as we'll get a chance to hear from Nathan in just a minute. All of this to say, our goal in the short time that we have with you is, whether you are trying to figure out what it is that you want to do, maybe you come in with one idea and suddenly you're just ignited by something else. Our goal in the career operation is to lead you to those pathways, and then help develop the competence in your abilities to be able to have that particular and take those next steps to do that, whether that's going into the job market, into the workforce, or going on and continuing your education after you leave UC Merced and pursuing your advanced degree and being able to do that. But we're here to work with you before you become a student, and helping get excited about the opportunities here. Certainly, as soon as you become a student here, eligible for our resources, and as an alum, our resources also still continue. We still support our alumni with the full range of services that they had as they were a student here. They can access those same resources and same services as an alum to help kind of get them into those next steps in that particular piece. And so really our passion is helping you make sense of where you are, gain the experiences and the confidence, and to be able to take that and land that dream job, or get into that great graduate program after you have that opportunity to do that. I don't want you to take only my word for it. At this point, I'd love to ask Nathan to come back on, and Ricky to come back on, and share a little bit about Nathan to share a little bit about his pathway and his journey as he's moved from being a UC Merced student to where he is now with San Diego Gas and Electric, and kind of learn a little bit about his pathways and the things that he was able to learn about himself through that particular process. So at this point, I'll turn it back over to Nathan and Ricky.
Thank you, Brian. I would like to toss it actually directly over to Nathan. If you would like to go ahead and share a little bit about your time at UC Merced. Some of us have had the pleasure to work with you, of course, but our audience has not had an opportunity yet to hear your success story as a Bobcat all the way into the professional world. So if you wouldn't mind, Nathan, you can go ahead and hop on screen and you can give us your story.
Sure, Ricky. Thank you so much. And needless to say, I'm extremely blown away by the slide deck and the different resources that the campus is now providing. A lot of the same resources that were there when I was a student, but one of the best abilities is adaptability. And with this whole virtual world and the direction that the world is going in now, it's just so great to see all the resources that UC Merced now is offering for its students. Really a community that cares, to say the very least. And so let me go ahead and introduce myself again. My name is Nathan Weezar. I am class of 2019. I actually graduated from UC Merced with a Bachelor of Science in Computer Science and Engineering. These days, I am an iOS developer with San Diego Gas and Electric. I was previously employed with SoCal Gas, but that hierarchy is under the same SEMBRA umbrella. And so moving around from company to company actually is very easy. And wherever I kind of see fit and the development needs that we have throughout the company, I kind of step in and help out with that. But in terms of circling back to UC Merced, it was really a great experience, right? So I joined the campus 2015. I came in undeclared, didn't exactly know what I wanted to do, but knew I had a lot of people and I had a lot of resources to find out, right? I took the courses, I took the psych courses, took the math courses, I took the English courses, but ended up finding my niche with computer science and engineering, and ended up majoring there right after my first year. So that first summer into my second year, I was actively looking around for opportunities. I was fortunate enough to get a research opportunity with the Mesa lab. So that's the mechatronics lab that they have right there about 15 or 20 minutes away up in Atwater. From Merced. And so where there, it was everything about mechatronics, right? Robotics, mechanical engineering. They needed a computer science guy to come in and do a little bit of programming for their projects. And so that was my real first experience of working, doing research, and helping out with a team. Fast forwarding into my second year, I started to get more involved with student life. I ended up joining Ingenieros Unidos, which is a great organization, really helping out in different courses. They have mentorship programs through that club as well. And of course, I was taking the requisite courses. I was going through all the math. I was going through the computer sciences, but really was struggling to find exactly what I wanted to do in terms of the computer science space. A lot of you people in the audience, a lot of the students in the audience might not know, but computer science is a vast career field. You can go to analytics, you can go to DevOps, you can go to software development, you can go to networking, you can go to security, really you name it. And if you guys start going down one rabbit hole, you'll find yourself going through about 6 or 7 more, right? Networking has its bevy of topics, software development, bevy of topics. And so second year going to my third year, I was actually fortunate enough to get employed by the Students First Center with a great leadership, a great boss, which was Ricky Hill. And so there we started, I started working on campus, started getting a feel of, what it's like to balance that whole work and school. The time management aspect started coming in. I'd have conversations with Ricky and, we'd have, set time. And as Brian highlighted, right, during midterm season, it was solely about being a student. During final season, it was, hey, take these times off. We'll see you as soon as finals are over. Make sure you guys get that done. And so a very, very rewarding experience to be working right there on campus. Going from my second year to my third year, we actually started up an initiative which was developing the Students First Center mobile app. And so I was very young in my computer science career. I was, taking data structures, taking databases, taking artificial intelligence. But that was the first real computer science project that I had for my own. And it's something that I slapped onto my resume. It was a project that we went ahead and completed. And it was because of that opportunity that Ricky and the Students First Center gave me that I was fortunate enough my last summer, to intern with Verizon Enterprise Solutions. And so for 10 weeks, I packed up my bags, went out to Ashburn, Virginia, and had the absolute time of my life. It was a great development experience, seeing the way corporate America worked, especially being 3 hours ahead. Worked with a lot of individuals, some from Penn State, some from Notre Dame, Virginia Tech, and you just really get a really big sense and a good sense of, the developers that are out there, the whole environment that's out there, what working America is like, what it's like to really be on a corporate project, right? Where the stakes are high, where now making a mistake is not just a C or a D on an assignment, it's actually going to affect customers, it's going to affect revenue and cash inflow. And so great experience. I came back my fourth year bigger and better than ever, ready to absolutely accomplish anything that I set my mind to. I was still working at the Students First Center. We had our mobile app project, had that internship under my belt, was getting ready, taking all my upper division courses, and then at the end of fall, I was interviewing with SoCal Gas. And so through Ingenieros Unidos, I went to a conference that was called HENAC, hosted down here in Pasadena, California. And so there I met with Northrop Grumman, with Boeing, with Raytheon, with Intel, with Microsoft. And I had a real tough decision. Did I want to go and work up north for Verizon Enterprise Solutions up in San Francisco? Or did I want to come back home, and spend some time with family? I had been away for so long that it really made it a tough decision. And so as you guys can probably imagine, I ended up taking the SoCal Gas position. My first opportunity with them was in analytics. And so getting all these data structures put up. We had an advanced meter project, really using computer vision and machine learning to better tell when our gas meters inside of the house are going to decay or send faulty alarms. My second was on a very big corporate enterprise application, which is called Envoy, which is the way that SoCal Gas actually brings in 73% of its revenue. And it's with these commercial customers, such as malls, right? Such as campuses like UC Merced. And now, I'm wrapping up my current work and jumping into my new iOS development role, which will be everything new, learning with AWS, learning with the Google Cloud Platform, using Firebase, using Swift, had previous development experience in React Native. And so you can see that it really was a linear path for me. Of course, no path is linear. You have your ups, you have your downs. But the campus and the resources and the leadership experiences that I learned there and that I gained there really paved the way and gave me a foundation of what to build on once I actually started getting into these professional positions. When I was at Verizon interning, of course, they weren't going to throw a full workload at me, but they understood, hey, you do have leadership capabilities, you do have these qualities, you have this knowledge. Now apply it. The technologies that you work with now, Facebook is always coming out with these new programs. Google's always coming out with these new programs. I learned the fundamentals, you guessed it, right there, sitting down in the classroom, learning from professors, learning from professionals, leveraging my peers, leveraging organizations, leveraging a lot of the resources on campus. The absolute opportunities are endless. I always like to use the analogy, right? If you go to a buffet with someone and you walk out of the buffet and they tell you, hey, did you try the macaroni? And you say no. Well, the macaroni was there the whole time. Why didn't you try it? And that's exactly how I feel about all these campus resources. They're there just waiting for somebody to be curious enough to say, what is this opportunity about? Can I learn more? You'll usually find that there's somebody willing to teach you more, and somebody willing to put you down that right path. And so that's just a little bit about my journey. I am wishing the best of luck to everybody, to those future Bobcats out in the audience. And if you guys have any questions, by all means, feel free to let me know.
Thank you so much, Nathan. What another great Bobcat success story. And I know it always warms all of our hearts to hear those. So thank you so much for sharing with us. And can you talk with our audience and let them know, how were you able to manage doing your work with the SFC and the mobile application and your schoolwork? How did you juggle that?
Right, and great question, Ricky. It helps with great leadership, right? Being able to talk to these individuals and being able to get a little bit of time management advices. And what I will really say is make sure that you are calculated in the things that you do. There are 24 hours in the day, but not every day is weighed the same, right? We do have to have self time. You do have to get out there, run for a little bit on the treadmill, go hit the gym, go take a walk, go talk to a friend, making sure that you're getting that good work-life balance in you. But to really answer that question, it wasn't anything short of time management. And that's something that you'll really learn in school, right? Nobody's telling you to go to class. Nobody's telling you to do the assignment right now. But college really is more of a marathon than it is a sprint. It might feel like you have this assignment due this week, you have a midterm this week and this week. So it's short sprints, but always keeping that end goal in mind of, okay, once these are done, what am I going to do after, right? How am I setting myself up for after the 4 years are up? And so always considering and always being mindful of your time. Allow yourself to allocate times for things that are necessary, and of course prioritize that in those orders. And so, yeah, I would say short answer, time management. I know it's a lot simpler than it seems. I know time management is something that a lot of people, it fails to struggle with, but it's very normal, and that's why you have other people to ask, other resources to rely on. Get a planner, use Google Notes, use your notes on iOS, set reminders on your phone. All that stuff can just aid that process.
Thank you, Nathan. The next question I'd like to throw over to Brian. How many students will be assigned to each career coach, or will each student have their own career coach?
Yeah, it's a great question. So the way that we've designed it at UC Merced is we assign our career coaches based on their school of enrollment. And so if you are a student in the social science, humanities, and the arts, you will have career coach that is assigned to that program. If you're in management economics, you'll have a career coach that's assigned to that program. If you're in the School of Engineering or Natural Sciences, you'll have, in some cases, multiple career coaches that are assigned to that particular piece. And so we do that by design because we really want the career coaches to not only understand the pathways of study that you're going through, but also to understand the industries or the opportunities that are there. And so these are folks who really are constantly engaging with outside entities, right? Organizations, but also engaging with your faculty and talking with them about what they're teaching and what they're learning in the classroom in that particular piece. And so students can, if they're exploring one area and want to go talk with another career coach, they're certainly empowered to do that. You kind of pick the brains of all of the team that's there to be able to do that. And so that's kind of how we've designed this particular piece, is for students to kind of have that person who can kind of move through with them as they kind of move through their kind of journey, but also someone who has a real keen eye on paying attention to what they're studying and what they're having those opportunities to do.
Great. Thank you, Brian. Another question for you.
Great.
Do first-year students have an opportunity to partake in the internship program?
They do. It's been so encouraging. I probably talk to, on any given week, 8 or 10 different employers from a variety of different sectors. And one of the trends I've seen in the last year is more and more organizations are telling us that they're interested in first and second year students. In a lot of years, you think internships are junior year or even before your senior year, but they're intentionally looking to try and engage, and they're doing it in some really kind of cool ways where it's not just the idea of doing internships, but they may even have the opportunity of having programs over the course of a weekend, or a 3-day opportunity to come on site, or in this case, do it virtual, where it's specifically for first year students or second year students. And their goal is to really help kind of introduce you to their industry, to in some cases talk about the skills that you can kind of have to be able to do that. And so, yeah, we have first year students that are doing internships all the way through to folks who are in their before their senior year that are having those types of opportunities. We love the opportunity to try and get you to think about internships, whether it's for the summer, or something that also might be a local based internship that you can do while you're in school, or now even that the opportunity with these virtual internships has been awesome for the number of opportunities that students have. And so it's important to kind of have an idea of what you're looking to kind of go into. You don't have to have it all figured out. You don't have to know the names of places. I think a big myth is that you have to have it all figured out before you come in and talk with someone. No, just come in and talk with someone. And we may have great ideas about places that we know are looking specifically for students early on in their careers. And doing that. And a lot of reasons these organizations are doing it is because they are looking at their conversion rates. And they know that if they've invested 1 or 2 years in a student, that they want that opportunity to offer them the possibility of a full-time position after they graduate. They're going to be much more productive as an employee. They're going to have learned a lot of the things about that company already. And so a lot of organizations are looking for that idea of introducing students to their opportunities much earlier than even we would necessarily suspect. And so we're making concerted efforts, I think, even with our resume writing contest. The whole idea is to get students thinking about, all right, the summer's coming up. What are you going to do when I get your resume? So that's not holding you back. Interviewing, come on, we've got this online thing. You can do practice interviews. That shouldn't hold you back. I'm not sure where to look for jobs. We've got a whole job portal where we post all these positions for out there. Let's take a look at them and see what might fit for what you're looking to do, or geographically where you want to be in that particular piece. And so it may not always work out, but that opportunity of being able to see what's out there and knowing what it might be, it gives you a lot more focus of going, gosh, now I see why what I'm learning in class is going to make a difference when I go out into the workforce or into this particular piece, because there's that direct correlation between what I'm learning.
Thank you, Brian.
Sure.
Nathan, I have a question for you, if you can rejoin us. How was it doing an internship that was far away from home?
Awesome. Great question, Ricky. Absolutely rewarding, right? So I actually went to school about 5 hours away from home. So UC Merced is about 5 hours away from Los Angeles, and I actually live about 30 minutes east of Los Angeles in a little city called West Covina. So being away from home was something that I was a little bit familiar with. Of course, being a couple hundreds of thousands of miles away from home, I was not familiar with, but really all the same experience, right? A lot of these internship programs are about 10 weeks. And so the whole time I told myself, it was going to be rewarding. It was going to accelerate my career. I was going to be able to learn. I was going to be able to leverage those contacts. And I have those managers and those directors that are still keeping up with me and still emailing me, how are you doing? How is this? Not to mention the whole internship program is catered to have a great experience. It's really catered for you to, show what you can bring to the table, as well as have fun. They do recognize that you are a student. They do recognize that you come from different places. Ashburn, Virginia was extremely beautiful. That was the first time I had ever been to Topgolf. Their downtown is something short of magnificent, right? They put us in little townhomes for the living quarters. right next to downtown. I was able to go visit Washington, D.C. for the very first time. I was able to go visit New York for the very first time. And so really a rewarding experience. And I would say, you know, it probably would have been the same if it would have been Virginia, if it would have been North Carolina, Texas, or if it would have been down the street from my house. You know, I'm definitely more of the career centric type of opportunities and forward thinking. And so keeping that in the back of my head and knowing that good had to come out of this opportunity, and sure enough, it did. It kept me going every single day.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. And Nathan, if you don't mind, I've got one more for you here that's come through. Did you have to have any knowledge before you went into computer engineering as the major? What would you recommend for people that are listening today?
Awesome question, Ricky. So these days, guys, it's extremely easy to get kickstarted with computer science. To answer the question directly, I actually had no previous experience. I took CSE 20 completely blindfolded, not knowing what was going to come of it. And I actually had to transform my mind, and you'll soon figure out that you think a little different as a computer science major. You think a little different as a software developer, as an iOS engineer, because you're not thinking anymore in terms of, you know, this is this and this is a result, right? 1, 0. Sure, that's part of it, but computer science is such an abstract field. And you have to think the professionals at the high top level of this field are really hacking into the mind, right? They're hacking into systems. It's making systems more efficient, making autonomous vehicles, making artificial intelligence. That takes a different way of thinking, right? Because you're no longer in your mind. You have to make your software, you have to make your computer think as your mind. And so no prior experience is really needed, especially with the great curriculum that UC Merced has and all the great instructors that they have. I was able to sit down, leverage office hours, which are kind of one-on-one sessions with professors, to be able to answer any question that I needed. A lot of the colleagues that I had were in the same major as well. And so we were always helping each other out. But these days, guys, Stack Overflow is so powerful. There's a lot of Git repositories that you can go ahead and just kickstart your own problems. I actually learned how to make an iOS mobile app off YouTube. And so, you know, that's something that was solely off videos and reading and using these forums. And then a couple of years later, that was one of the projects that I did for a software engineering course at UC Merced. And so no prior experience, but I would say definitely have that curiosity to it. Be willing to know more, because in this field, you don't stop learning. So as long as you have that T crossed and that I dotted, you'll be more than good to go.
I will go ahead and toss the next one out to Brian. So Brian, can you talk a little bit more about our internships and how competitive those are? Are there only a few openings, or should students be prepared to have plenty of opportunities?
Yeah. And so if we think about opportunities for internships, it can really vary depending upon ideas such as if you're looking at certain geographic locations or certain areas. And so what we encourage you to do is to research, support, and apply for a lot of internship opportunities. Coming out of the last year, we were really worried that this summer was going to be a lot fewer opportunities. And we started figuring out very early on through the fall and things, when we saw the internships coming back in significant ways, that it was going to be a good opportunity for students. A lot of internships are competitive, so we encourage students not to apply for just 4 or 5 of them, but maybe apply for 10 or 15 of those, to put yourself in that position to be able to do that. Yeah, so we have both on-campus opportunities for students, but then you know, opportunities for students to apply for internships. Gosh, you just have to kind of think of the organization that you're looking for. At any given time right now, I think the last looked at our system, which we maintain listing, we had a close, I think about 1,500 internship positions that were currently posted, and close to, I think, 7,500 full-time positions that were currently posted and available for students. And so that's something that we keep a very close eye on, and ensure that we make sure that we're also seeing representation of internships for all of our programs. One of the areas that my team has really doubled down on in the last couple of years is really looking at internship experiences for students in the social sciences or in the humanities or in the arts-based areas. Yeah, we have lots of things for engineering students or business students, but what about the students in political science? Where are their opportunities to be able to do that? And so we take a look at look at doing research into who has these programs, how do we introduce UC Merced to those programs and start getting our students to competitively start to apply for those types of opportunities. And so when we look at it, we really look across our areas of study, our programs, and making sure that there are ample opportunities for students to apply to. In some cases, it's also making sure the students are actually applying. And so we do even things called appy hours. It's not what you think. We're not happy, but appy, where we have opportunities where students can drop in and we help them kind of finalize their applications to submit for positions. We always set a goal for the appy hour of how many applications do we want to all submit. And students just kind of come in and work at their own pace to kind of submit things. They may come up and say, hey, I've got a question about this job description. And we'll say, let's pull it up and look at it. All right, yeah, they're really looking for this. So maybe really draw out your leadership experience here. That seems to be what they're looking for. Okay, cool. Another person might say, oh, I got this project. I'm like, oh my gosh, that project's amazing. Tell me more about it. Well, we did all this, this, and this. I'm like, oh my gosh, we got to get that onto your resume. It'll really be something that employer is looking for. And so both not just getting the number of opportunities that are out there, but making sure you're really feeling prepared to be able to apply for them all the way through to that application process.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Brian. We are looking at the end of our event right now, but just real quick, Brian, would there be a couple of very quick tips that you could give people on how they can stand out to become an intern someplace?
Sure. I think that one of those things is being able to highlight both your soft skills and your hard skills. And so things like your leadership skills, when you've worked as part of a team, being able to talk about your experiences in an interview. And be able to kind of share things that you've done and talk about the skills that you've utilized to do those things. It's amazing how many skills and things you've done just in everyday life that's applicable to what organizations are looking for. And then keep all of your doors open. Apply to a lot of things or be open to explore a lot of different opportunities. You may be hard set on, I want to go work for this organization, this type, but you may have an amazing opportunity to try something over here. And so internships are kind of that opportunity to explore, open doors. And so we really encourage our students to broaden their search and broaden their thinking to have those opportunities to apply for multiple things. You just never know where it could lead you in terms of those particular experiences.
Thank you so much, Brian, for those quick tips as we start to wrap up this Become a Bobcat virtual series event. Once again, everyone, thank you so much for joining us for Charting Your Own Course, Career and Leadership Development at UC Merced. A big thank you to our expert panelists of Brian and Nathan this evening, both offering us very insightful information and an inside look into the life at UC Merced, both as a student as well as an alumni moving on into your professional career. Let me give you a quick reminder about the Become a Bobcat virtual series. Over the next couple of months, we will be offering you over 40 different events. A couple that are coming up include housing, residence, life, transportation, and dining services, as well as understanding your financial aid award letter. Make sure you do check out that website and get registered quickly so that you don't miss your chance in learning more about any of those topics. As I said, over 40 topics over the next couple of months. I would also like to take this opportunity to mention our drive-through tours, which is a new opportunity that we are offering you, where you can take a moment to learn about our beautiful campus and our university from the comfort of your vehicle. You'll be able to follow a map and scan some QR codes at different tour stops on our campus and get to listen and learn from some of our student tour guides. We do have a website that we will make available for you where you can get registered. It also will offer you the different dates and times that the drive-through tour option is available. Once again, thank you so much for joining us during this Become a Bobcat virtual series, Charting Your Own Course, Career and Leadership Development here at UC Merced. A big thank you to our audience and our expert panelists. Hope to see you in a future Become a Bobcat event. Have a wonderful night.